Nothing quite like a tasty, crisp, and refreshing lager. Well, maybe it's not that tasty, but it certainly is crisp and refreshing. Today, we're going to talk about what happened to beer. Now, I was recently at a restaurant, and they asked us, okay, what do you want to drink? I said, okay, run me a beer. I'm like, okay, let me fetch the beer list. Beer list? Can't you just tell me what's on tap or what's in the bottle? Too many to remember. Ooh, excuse me. That's why you don't drink beer. Slid me the beer list. Couldn't recognize a single one. It was all double IPAs, triple IPAs, fruited sours, triple fried pizza dough flavored porters, what have you. I was confused. Said, do you have anything, not to sound like, some person who doesn't know or doesn't appreciate the creativity of new beer, but I know what I like. And like I mentioned in a previous video, all alcohol tastes pretty terrible. Why would I want to go around adding extra flavors? Just, I'm looking to have a beer. And it really got me thinking. Because from what I've noticed over the past, 10, 15 years, beer has undergone a little bit of a revolution. Everybody and their nans popping up with a microbrewery, and they're getting really, really creative with it. And I love that creative entrepreneurial spirit. I think it's really, really cool. As somebody who studied science, that continuous experimentation is something that's very, very appealing to me. There's a caveat though. There's a reason why Bavarian beer purity laws have not changed in almost 500 years. Because that shit works. Alright? You can hardly get a nice, crisp, and refreshing beer anymore. Because everybody's opted to go with this new trendy route. And honestly, they don't taste great. So the reason why I'm making this video is to figure out exactly what the hell happened to it and essentially why it's a little bit overrated. Number one, IPAs, double IPAs, triple IPAs, overrated as hell. I don't know why the hell you'd want your guts to hurt after having, 5 or 6 of them or whatever. And I mean, there are going to be people who argue, oh, well, you're not supposed to drink 5 or 6 of them. You're only supposed to have 1, maybe 2. And if that's your bag, go for it. I respect it. But let's face it, most people aren't drinking beer to just have 1 or 2. 1 or 2 beers is more like 5 or 6 beers. So, again, it doesn't necessarily compute to me. Not to mention as well, is there a need for an IPA? I mean, it's not like with modern preservation techniques, the beer's going to go bad. The only reason why India Pale Ale was a thing, was over-hopped to begin with, was so that way it could last, in those stupid wooden barrels, which was the only effective way to transport this stuff across long sea voyages. We don't need to do that anymore. But I guess tastes change with time. The second thing that I don't really understand is the flavor combinations are just getting out of hand. I don't want to have a chocolate milkshake ale or that triple fried pizza dough sour or whatever flavor of the month it is. What's wrong with just having a plain, crisp, and refreshing beer without the extra junk in it? What's wrong with it? It's almost like it's looked down upon now, at least from the circles that I've traveled in. The only place where you can get that, unfortunately, you have to go somewhere, to Boomerville and get, either a Coors Light or a Miller Lite, which, again, I'm not really fans of, but that's beside the point. It's just, it seems that there's so much focus on style that there's no real substance to the beer, or if anything, there's too much substance in the beer. Just keep it simple and refine and try your best to refine the product. I think it would be really cool, especially going back to those purity laws, which off the top of my head, I do believe it's spring water, hops, barley, and yeast. I think that's it, but I'll put up the actual ones on the screen here. Now, what's wrong, let's say if we're in North America, for example, you get nice glacier water instead of the spring water, or you have a North American variety of hops, or something like that. Why don't we get into more of that? But no, instead we have to add these fruited sours and stuff, which, to be complete, I don't understand sour beer to begin with. I tried a blueberry sour once, I almost vomited. It was not good. Still drank it though, because, I mean, I'm not gonna be rude and not drink alcohol that's been given to me. The third thing that personally that I find really, really, that I don't appreciate, and which is part of what spurred the question as to what happened with beer, is that the culture now is just really overbearing. Like, I mean, like I said before, I love the creativity, and I think that innovation of it, it's really, really cool. But if I'm drinking a beer, I'm not drinking it to explore any sort of new taste combinations or whatever else, or to blaze some sort of a creative trail. It's probably to unwind from, a long week, or to have something, if I'm sick and tired of drinking water because I've already drank 3 liters of it today, I want to have something nice, like I said before, crisp, refreshing, something that, has a very neutral, a semi-palatable taste, and to possibly get drunk off of it. I don't necessarily want to go and try all of these, new varieties, and then when I do, and I say, well, it's not really my thing, I don't want to have some wounded bird or neckbeard, I'll explain those terms in another video, tell me about how, oh no, but really by, your 5th or 6th sip, you're really going to appreciate it. It's like, I don't want to drink a beer that I hate for 5 or 6 sips before I start to appreciate it. Just run me a regular beer. Doesn't make sense. So, I don't really want this to be a hot take. I really want this to be more of an open-ended thing, because really I'm at a loss right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's traveled. The world of beer has traveled in this direction, and I guess this is where I should open it up to to you guys as well. It's like, please at this stage, just help me understand how it got here. Like, I have no clue how. Clearly, I need to be educated on some of this stuff, because, again, I don't know where the market is for this. I didn't even know that there is a market for these wacky sort of flavors. All of it sort of reeks of novelty to me, almost like a Beyonce song, and I can't really understand how there's a continued market for all of these, wacky new combinations in this stuff, because to me what it seems like is that if it's tried and true, then maybe don't try to reinvent the wheel, but try to, make it as efficient of a wheel as possible. But anyway, clearly, like I said, I need some help in understanding this, so I put the question to you. If you have any idea as to how it got to this situation, please let me know in the comments below. Also, who wants to go for a beer? Run me some beer recommendations that I should try out. Hopefully they'll change my mind. If you want to see me do a beer review, let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.